Okay, so I was out last week, so I don't know all the details about this story, but it has to do with the Shreveport Police Station and a prayer or a picture of Aaron. You take it. What's the deal?
A painting of Jesus is apparently hangs at the Shreveport Police Station, and the Freedom from Religion Foundation wants it gone. Does it have to go?
I don't think so. And that letter, my position is certainly that I would not agree right in the beginning based on the letter that the Freedom from Religion Foundation has sent. This is really the key to situation. It's all about the context in which something like this portrait of Jesus or those poems, there's also some poems about my stories of Jesus, they call it, that are also in the same area at SPD as this portrait is. The key is just how does it appear? In other words, is the portrait, for example, by itself? Can we consider it art? Can we consider it history? Is it up on the wall for educational or academic purposes? In other words, all those reasons are non-religious reasons, which would be reasons that it could stay up. The letter.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Aaron.
The letter that the Freedom from Religion Foundation has written says that it is prominently displayed in a hallway where members of the public wait to be interviewed by police officers, and that is not allowed by the Constitution, or something
right.
to that effect.
That's exactly right. And my point is that the question is there anything else around it? In other words, are there any other kinds of paintings in the area? Is there any other art? All the courts have ever said is the idea is not to appear to be endorsing religion, but it's not an endorsement if there's other similar pieces of art or other painting or other historical feature. I mean, Christ was also very much an historical figure. Christ was very much you could look at it for academic reasons. You could say, "Oh no, I'm interested in the history, of the history of Western civilization, and I want to study biblical studies or so forth based on that, not necessarily for religious purposes."
So sort of a two-parter here. One, how did the Freedom from Religion Foundation find out about this? I assume somebody had to snitch out the SPD. And the second part is organizations at all levels, state, municipal, whatever, a history of bowing and or folding to the freedom from religion demands. So the two-parter, how did they find out? What do you think the SPD and or the city is going to do?
It looks like, Robert, that somebody locally wrote to them or told them this portrait is at SPD. That's what, according to this letter, it looks like that. Or according to y'all's article, it looks like somebody snitched, so to speak. The second thing is, I wouldn't move to do anything right now. These groups like this, the ACLU, this Freedom from Religion Foundation, tend to wade in and really kind of intimidate. Look, take it down. You have to. The letter is very forceful sounding, and I just disagree. I don't think they have to, and we definitely don't know the answer today to the question, and I wouldn't be intimidated by these people right now.
Let me ask you this thing. A lot of people say, oh, but then this is going to lead to a lawsuit that's going to cost us money that we don't have.
Which is why
just take the picture down and move on.
Yeah.
And that may be the case. That may be the ultimate decision. But at least let's look at these things like the context, because that's what the courts do. They always say, look, we don't want to promote religion, but that's all the framers ever intended by the Establishment Clause in the first place. Really, there's so much hostility to religion today. All the framers intended was just not that we have a state religion, because that's why they left England in the first place. That's why we broke off from Great Britain and became our own nation. That was one of the reasons. We're not going to be forced to be a part of a state religion. But beyond that, that was their concern. And this hostility we have today towards religion is this example. And that's not what the Supreme Court has said. People say, oh, the separation of church and state. Separation of church and state is not in the Constitution. Mm-hmm. It's in the academic literature, but it's not itself in the Constitution. So I just don't want anybody to be browbeaten. I think we ought to look and consider this, but I don't think the SPD should be intimidated by this letter.